That's not ethics. Like, when you talk about how they should have handled the concussion crisis, it's basically like, well, how would you want it handled if you were on the opposite end? And they didn't do that. And that's about ethics. That's about how you treat people. So it's a good point.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
What fans have come up a few times in this conversation. What role do you think fans have in affecting some sort of change in the NFL or forcing the NFL to change in the ways that you're all talking about? Anybody can pick that up.
You want to know, like, what the role of fans in kind of affecting the NFL strategy or behavior?
Yeah, because I think right now, just from the outside, it feels like on one hand you have these fans who are screaming about players who don't respect the flag, and on the other hand you have these fans who are screaming about the NFL not respecting the players. And it seems like they're both taking the lead to task, but for very different reasons and to very different ends. So, but at the same time, fans aren't necessarily leaving the sport. They're still around. They're still very passionate. Do fans have a role to play in forcing the NFL's hand to take a more ethical stand on concussions or a more ethical stand in how it interacts with players?
I want to hear what the guys have to say. If you ask me what fans don't do, I think they do, but I think they do at the team level. I think the more that fans are just yapping on social media all the time in the way that everybody yaps on social media all the time. But to the extent that fans can weigh in with their individual owners, I think, the Bidwell family will respond. I'm a Cardinals fan. You shouldn't feel pity for me, but to the extent that the Bidwell family cares about fans, they care about Cardinals fans, and I think in a weird way that fans should start thinking of their team owners as senators and congressmen, and they should start lobbying them directly, and sending letters, and if they want to protest at stadiums, but going to their teams, their PR feeds, the social media feeds that they have, because owners care about, they really do care about their fan base, and that's a way for them to start going, wait, my people, my fans are really upset about X or Y. When they're at those owners meetings, that's when they'll start articulating real positions that might actually be contra to what the league is saying, because they'll be like, hey, my people are telling me that they care about this and that. So we need to respond. That's what I think, that it should be much more of a local effort, but I'm curious what the guys think. I think he's asking, do you think fans have a role in trying to make things better or changing the NFL's positions?
Yeah, they got just as much as almost just as much as the players do. If you're a fan and you want to make change, and you're concerned about the team or the ownership or something, all you gotta do is affect their pockets, and the changes will be made. I think the NFL in general, the whole thing is about making money for the owners. Like, we had the lockout, they wouldn't give up their books because they were crying that they didn't want a revenue share, but they were actually, I think the lowest grossing team had made over $100 million, or something like that. So fans have the right to it. They don't like what they're seeing. Man, if you had an empty NFL stadium, you know how crazy that would be? Mm-hmm. Like, that would be outrageous. And what's the whole reason that teams are building these huge, bigger, better stadiums to cater to the fans, to get more people in, to buy more tickets, to sell more jerseys, to sell more apparel, so that they can get more money.
Yeah.
It's facts. It's true. It always comes back around to the conversation of money.
Yeah.
And I know that personally because the players are rotated. Like, you see guys, and KP probably saw it, even though he was just in the league for a couple of years. Being in the league for a decade, guys roll in and out of the locker room constantly. And most of the time, it's not even about talent. It's about dollars and cents. Like, this kid has the same amount of talent, but he's cheaper, so I'm gonna get him. Or this running back, he's doing very well, but I think I can get 2 running backs for his price. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna get 2 running backs, and I'm gonna let him go into free agency or whatever the situation is. So, other decisions are made based off of that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I fell into that same conversation. I tell a lot of guys that talk to me about why you're not playing, and given my situation, I had 5 surgeries. I had to overcome a lot to get to where to even get in the league and sniff it and do what I did. But it always comes back to politics. What have you done for me lately? It's a lot that goes into it versus I'm great. I know I can play at this level, but dollar signs. And like I can be as equal talent as a guy who's the same size as me, same speed, but the thing is, what separates me from him, let's just say we both get hurt, but we both are producing. Say I was making more plays than him, they're going to keep him versus me because there's more money invested in him. I'm just an undrafted guy trying to make a team. They can afford to lose me versus they can't afford to lose their first round draft pick that they took in the first round. Even though he ain't as good as me, I'm undrafted, but they gotta bite that bullet. That's just how it is.
Speaking of money, by the way, I think from a fan's point of view, I also think fan pressure and fan communication with NFL
sponsors about this lingering issue, and whether there is a sort of a bleed over to their brands. Does the Anheuser-Busch brand, Budweiser, and all the stuff they do, is there any bleed over from this controversy to that? Is there any bleed over to Visa? There have been some statistics out there that initially, when this controversy first happened, there was some problems. PepsiCo, for example, got a lot of flack from viewers and consumers calling into PepsiCo headquarters in Westchester, complaining about sponsoring the NFL while there was no specific law outlawing players from taking one knee.
There's a lot of power to, because the NFL does not like when they get calls from MasterCard or Anheuser-Busch or Ford or IBM or whoever any number of their sponsors are, saying like, we're hearing from people on our social media feeds that they either support us or don't support us, or are mad at us or happy with us because we're involved with the NFL because of X or Y position that you guys are taking.
As a last question, there's a new book that Mark Leibovich just published called Big Game about the NFL, and he poses a question that I think makes sense for our conversation. Fans he writes, why does this game still mean so much, and why are we still here? And I feel like with all these problems that the NFL faces from all sides, it seems like fans keep coming back. So, and journalists keep coming back, and players keep coming back. So, why does this game still mean so much to us, and why does the NFL still mean so much to us? Gary, if you want to take that first.
Sure. It's funny. We had I wrote a book a couple of years ago called "On the Origins of Sports," and it's basically we look at all the first rules of all the major sports. And one of the things we noticed was that every country has its national sport, and there's a reason why football is really America's national pastime, and has been, by the way, by almost any measure for much longer than people realize. It's because football represents the American character, which is that it's aggressive and it's about camaraderie, but it's also about going at each other and fighting and having too many rules and arguing too much about every single thing that happens. I think there's a distinctly American character to the game of football that is optimistic and exciting and offers a new chance every year for almost any team and almost any fan base. And the product is still extraordinarily compelling, despite all of the flaws. The athleticism is incredible. The intelligence required to play football is, I think people really understand just how difficult the game is to grasp from a mental point of view, and the fact that you get to watch all these people, use their minds and their bodies at supersonic speeds. It's just, there's nothing like it, and there's nothing like it on the planet. And so I just think the product is not only compelling, but it speaks to a particular kind of American experience. And that's why it's still powerful, and that's why it's still popular, and why it will be for a long time, despite all the missteps.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I think, I think from a player standpoint, been playing football since I was 7 years old. It's been something that's been embedded in my DNA. So I think, just to allude to what you said, is just football is something that brings people together. And I talk to people a lot of times about the same thing with music. Music fuels emotion, and football fuels emotion. And it brings people together, that probably would have never came together had the sport had not been introduced to us. And I think despite everything that's going on, as far as in this world with everything that's happening with the injustice and things that are wrong, I think this sport and what Colin did, knowing that football is the biggest stage and the biggest platform, knowing that it brings people together, knowing that it has brought people together that probably never would have got together, the camaraderie, the friendships, those are things that are going to last forever. So what better way to make a stand and prove a point than using that platform? You get what I'm saying? So, football will forever and always be America's sport. But at the same time, I know for me, man, these relationships that I've made throughout playing football, man, I know I wouldn't have got them playing if I didn't play. I wouldn't be where I'm at today creating and being a filmmaker and director had I not played. And so these relationships, and it teaches you how to treat people. It teaches you how to be on tight schedule. I know that for one thing, that's why a lot of people, when you go, like guys that go and transition into the careers afterwards, whether that's corporate or creative entrepreneur, they love us because we're structured. We're always used to meetings. We're here. We're supposed to be here. We're supposed to be there. We're supposed to do this and that. We're disciplined.
Very coachable.
Very coachable. All those things are something that you can't simulate through just everyday life. Football is truly an amazing sport, but also, man, there's just a lot of things that are going on within it that no matter what's going on outside in that realm, football, when you're on that field, that's just you lined up, imano a mano. There's no racism, there's no social injustice, there's no bad mouthing. It's just ball. You have to talk a little trash, but that's just football. All that stuff gets pushed to bed. So I think football will forever remain and be the number one sport, man. But also, we can't, ignore what's going on.
Watered with my soul, the fruit it bears leaves me so cold. This bitter land does nothing for love. This bitter land